and thanks so much for joining us on today's episode of What's Up With That. Now, we've got a lot of interesting topics coming up for you guys today, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. The Winter Olympics began in Sochi, Russia on Friday, February 7th, and so far are off to an exciting start. And some of the events completed over the past week include alpine skiing, figure skating, ice hockey, biathlon, and much, much more. But while the games are off to an exciting start for most, there has been a lot of controversy for gay rights activists in relation to the games. And Russian police actually arrested 4 gay rights activists on opening day in St. Petersburg. Now, I know our panelists are going to have a lot to say about this, so let's go ahead and pass it over to them to see what they have to say.
Thanks, Joy. Hey, guys. We are your group of panelists made up of students just like you. So we're going to present real, raw, and realistic, relatable opinions and perspectives. Right next to me, we have Victoria Tapp from the DMV from Maryland. We have Paul Buford from Compton, Cali. Donovan Gates from St. Louis, Missouri.
Midwest.
And yours truly, Monique Norris. Now, disclaimer, everything that we are about to say is from the lenses of our own perspectives. We are here just to tell you our opinion. There's some facts in here, but definitely our opinions are based in this. So this is here to encourage you to get out and be informed and research a little bit for yourself too. All right, guys, so let's talk about Winter Olympics. Are you guys proud to be an American right now?
Yeah. Comparatively.
Yeah. Comparatively.
I mean, we're America. We're not number 1 right now. We're number 5. But I mean, you know.
Out of 24.
Yeah, but you know, we're America. We're the standard, right? You know, we're supposed to be number 1.
And honestly, we're only number 5 right now. Like technically speaking, like Joy said, we're second in medal count. But as far as like, I guess the weight, we have 12, but most of them aren't necessarily gold. Right now, Germany actually has the most, the gold with 7. So like he said, we're riding number 5. But I mean, the Olympics just started. We got some time to bounce back.
Yeah, that's right.
I believe we can.
I mean, it wasn't really nice about us, standing pretty well because of that whole intro situation with the rings.
Oh yeah, let's talk.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah,
because America got slighted a little bit.
First off, this is the most expensive Winter Olympics ever. Out of all the Winter Olympics combined,
50 billion.
This was a $50 billion project. And
that's insane.
you have a big technical difficulty with the rings, the symbol of the Olympics, period. And allegedly, the ring that didn't open up was supposed to be the red ring
one.
that's supposed to represent
the Americas.
Wait, do we know that
United
for a fact
States.
it was supposed to be America?
We know. We know that back
placed.
in the day there was speculation that each one represented one of the major countries contributing to it, because we already know the colors in the Olympic rings are made up of all of the colors outside of white that most flags in the world are made from. And then somewhere down the line they decided, okay, well this one and this one, like they started assigning them to countries. Supposedly the red one is for the Americas, but we don't know for certain. It was in a handbook, but they took it out, so right now it's a matter of opinion.
So,
however, considering the background with this Olympics,
So what happened though?
Well, basically it was snowflakes, and 4 of snowflakes they opened up, and the very last snowflake did not open at all. Like it was just chilling.
Why do you feel like, if we were just to speculate and create some assumptions, like why do you feel like, ours was a little shaded just now?
If I can just...
Because we're America.
But not even that. Like not even just the fact that it's, we've had beef in the past with Russia, even though it's mostly squashed. Let's just talk about the fact that in the last couple of months leading up to Sochi, we've gotten really, really amped behind this gay rights issue, and we've made bold statements, so much as even saying we're gonna put our navies on your coast if you even do anything that violates the rights of any players who may or may not be homosexual. We've made some pretty bold statements, so it's kind of easy to speculate that they may have wanted it to not open, but we'll see.
And then the boldest thing ever was with the people and the flag thing about gay rights. So I mean, it was the opening ceremony was very unusual to say the least.
Yeah, I just
It was bold.
Yeah, I just find it really funny though. And I could just say this real quick. I find it really funny that Russia has an issue with gay rights and gays in general, but their red square during the opening ceremony was all rainbowed out. So I'm just saying, man.
All right, guys, going back to you, what do you guys think about the Olympics, how it turned out, even just being proud to be an American? So, guys,
What's up with that?
Back to you, Joy.
And thanks, guys. There's definitely a lot going on with that topic. So if you'd like to keep up with the details of the Winter Olympics, you can visit their website at Sochi2014.com. And on a more serious note, film director Woody Allen is speaking out in response to allegations from his former partner Mia Farrow, who claims that Allen molested their daughter Dylan Farrow when she was a child. And Allen claims that he did not molest Dylan, but that these allegations are an act of spite, deceit, and hatefulness from his former partner. Now, the story originally surfaced in 1992 when Dylan, who was 7 years old at the time, alleged that Allen abused her in the attic of their family home in Connecticut. And Dylan, who is now 21 years old, still maintains that she was indeed molested. And Allen says that he doesn't doubt that Dylan believes that she was molested, but that this came as a result of her mother teaching her that her father was a monster who abused her. Now, I know our panelists are definitely going to have a lot to say about this topic, so right now let's just pass it over to them.
Wow, thanks, Joy. Let's talk about Woody Allen. He was known for Magic in the Moonlight, for Midnight in Paris, for Vicky Cristina in Barcelona. This man has won 4 Oscars. He's had around 116 wins, 142 nominations. Like, he's more on the sophisticated, artsy
Highly
side.
revered.
And and so it's just kind of
Oscar
like,
regular.
Right.
But that's his profession. It has nothing necessarily to do with his family life. I feel like we confuse that with a lot of celebrities.
Excellent
Like,
point, Tab.
You know what I mean?
Excellent point.
So, but this is touchy. It's he say, she say. You can't really.
And honestly, like I kind of have to agree, not necessarily backing the allegations, but I kind of see where Woody Allen might say that, you know, these things are coming out of a position of spite. Because let's be honest, in Hollywood, marriage is a very public thing, even though it's
They weren't
private
even
thing.
married though.
And that's the funny thing, yeah. Like the relationship in question, that was just like a very long-term, very strong, committed relationship that ended badly, but there was no marriage. And I know in Hollywood the lines get blurred because you have a lot of people who live together or whatever, they're not married. You have a lot of people who are like engaged for years and still either never get married or they get married and you done forgot that they were together. So marriage is a very interesting thing in Hollywood. And I kind of understand where he's coming from when he say that these things may be coming from a place of spite because, you know, he just like you said, this last Oscars or whatever, like with his most recent film, Blue Jasmine, it kind of came out as a sleeper. It didn't win what it could have won, but
Right.
It was a sleeper.
But then
So
let's
back-
look at the
well-
other side of the coin. I mean, let's take Dylan's aspect on the whole
Wait,
controversy.
question. That's their kid together. So Dylan is.
Dylan is, yes.
They came together and had
yes.
her. That's both their child. Okay. Just wanna...
I say, in my opinion, for Dylan, I think that it could be true. Because, I mean, for her to be, you know, 7 years old and say, Woody Allen, he raped me. And for her to be 21 now and still sticking to it. I mean, you don't really forget a trauma like that. Like, I think with all the time between 7 and 21, for all that time elapsed, either, like, if it didn't happen, she would have let it go. Or she would have at least said, look, my mom is really, you know, she's putting this, she would have exposed the greater
Feeding
truth
me
by
this,
now. I would like to believe.
and I mean, that's hard to say because when you're in the middle of a battle between parents, like, it's hard to really come out and go ahead and say, like, you know, this is an expose of my mom and how she really feels about you. Like, you're adding more fuel to the fire. So sometimes parents, I mean, in divorced or not married situations like this one, they'll really capitalize on their child and really make them feel guilty or threaten their unity or whatever.
And while that's true, what does she have to gain from saying I was molested to the public?
Well, no,
yeah, but the truth in itself is what's going to be the issue. I'm so sorry, Paul.
No, you're good.
Go ahead.
No, it's just funny because it's like, you say, what does she have to gain? If you listen recently, another thing that Woody Allen's been in the news for is his relationship with his current, I guess, or his most recent.
Mia's daughter.
Well, Mia's stepdaughter.
stepdaughter.
Yeah.
Mia's stepdaughter. I don't remember her actual name, but I think it's like Suni or something like that.
Oh,
Maybe she's bitter.
Right.
He was in his 50s. He was in his 50s, and she was about like 19 when they actually officially got together. But I know it was a very interesting thing to cover because, like I said, that was same woman in question, Mia Farrow. That was her stepchild, and that was her actual adopted child. Right. And a lot of people for the longest thought that was Woody Allen's stepchild with them because once again, everyone thought they were married. So right now, with that being a key issue that people are always arguing off of, it kind of adds or kind of creates an avenue where Dylan would be able to come out and be like, well, clearly, if he feels this way about women who are this much younger than him, why wouldn't he actually go after, like of course he could go after his own, his own
Let me
daughter.
ask you a question. Do we know the time difference between when he allegedly molested his daughter and then when he got with? Does it match up for her to be bitter and then, or
not sure.
do we know?
We don't know.
Because that may
I'm sure
have
there
some
may
part to
be
play.
record out there, but of course, as many things are, it's probably disputed right now. It's not an actual court case, so we don't have any official documents right now as far as like an actual timeline. But
We'll never know.
things are heated. So
Either way, to me,
It's a sad situation.
It doesn't look good on Woody Allen's part.
especially somebody who's creating such a legacy like what he's creating.
Yeah.
So
In his profession, he's the man.
He's a beast.
He's the man.
But as a family man, we don't know.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this whole Woody Allen situation is obviously something that's scary for his own reputation and his career. So, Woody Allen,
What's up with that?
what's up with that?
Thanks, guys, and hopefully there is some light shed on that situation so that it can all be put to rest sooner rather than later. And in other news, after 22 years of hosting The Tonight Show, Jay Leno retired on Thursday, February 4th. And Jimmy Fallon is set to take his place as the new host of the show. So we'd just like to say congratulations to Jay Leno and a job well done. And also good luck to Jimmy Fallon taking his place. Well, it is that time of the year again. Oakwood United Student Movement is having their annual elections. And there are many students running, but so far the race to watch seems to be the presidential elections. And in the running are juniors Christopher Johnson and Tajay Concrete. So let's hear from our panelists to see who they think is best fit for the job.
Thanks, Joy. Okay, so we're going to talk about USM president candidates. It's funny because we all have some type of relationship with each and every one of them just because it's Oakwood. We're a big family. You see them somehow. But let's go ahead and talk about it, guys.
In Chris, we trust.
Wait, pause.
And
Wait,
Chris
pause.
Johnson, we
And
trust.
Tajay,
We trust him.
Concrete. What?
He is the chosen one.
Okay, talk. Talk.
Okay.
I was trying not to be biased.
You've been moderating.
Ladies first. No, Paul.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm going to defend Chris. I say Chris is the man for the job because number one, his PR team is the stuff. Like he's.
What does it have to do with him, though?
Wait, hold on. Let me speak.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Now, Chris Johnson, like he is making himself known to everybody. I mean, like his whole campaign is just beast. You know where he's going. Like everybody on campus knows Chris Johnson, and they know what he's about. Tajay.
Oh, wow.
I don't really know much about Tajay.
Oh, PR. What do I have in my hand? Oh, is that a brochure? Oh my God. Pass this around.
I have something to say about
Tajay
that.
Concrete, USM
We're in the
president.
21st century.
very organized.
Everything is supposed to be
Oh,
online.
right, online. Okay,
Online.
right. So OU deserves more. What? OUdeserves.com. Wait, what? He has a website too.
But here's the thing. I can talk about that, and we're getting.
Tajay, what?
If you pass this to me, I'm going to
Okay,
throw
but
it their way.
content. What do they have to bring to the presidency for USM?
Chris Johnson has more experience,
I
and
beg
he
to
has
differ.
a wealth of
Let's
content.
talk about experience.
of
Let's talk about
networking.
experience. Let's talk about. No, go ahead. Talk about experience.
Well, okay. When we're talking about experience, let's talk about connections. First off, his brother. We all know Corey. Corey has a long-standing relationship with USM and a lot of student politics, so I know he has the connection to somebody who was experienced. He has the mentoring thing down pat. He has somebody who's kind of already walked the path, who can show you the ropes, and has all these connections laid out for you.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
Basically, he kind of has that set up with
touch.
Corey, so there's that. However, since he's been here, he's also made his own strides because, little brother can't live in big brother's shadow for too long. And I find it funny that you brought up social networks because Tajay has a brochure, and Chris not only has Chris happens to have all of the social networks, a brochure, a website, and an app. I'm just saying.
Who has an app?
Chris Johnson has an app.
Oh.
Or at least he's working
Okay, so
on
can
it.
we talk about experience?
Okay, but what
Can we
is
talk about
And-
experience real quick? Because I'm just like, all right, we all know that that Chris, he was a senator.
Yes.
Right? And he is parliamentarian.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
okay,
he is.
so when Chris was senator, he was senator of what? Edwards? Was it?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, isn't it funny how Conkright was the head district senator of Edwards? So Chris was working underneath.
But who knew that?
Conk-
But that's,
Right.
not only that, but that's also an elected position. As a former senator myself, I know that working on Senate, as far as like head districts and things like of that nature are concerned, those are like positions of confidence that are agreed upon by the people within that district, and of course, overseen by the body of USM itself. So it's not so much that he worked under Tajay, but it was more or less just like at the time they saw the kind.
Okay, but who's in charge? And then going back to
Well,
parliamentarian.
can we hear some of their ideas though?
Fine.
Because I
Yeah.
personally don't care who wins. I think they're both great
They
candidates.
are
and
both
it really,
great. I'm not
I don't
trying
have
to
a
bash
I know.
anyone.
Okay, well, right here,
all.
I know. I have a little bit of his campaign points. I know
Who's
one thing.
this?
This is Chris Johnson.
Okay.
He wants to reform the dining experience here with more flexible meal plans. I guess a revolutionized system with the dining dollars, which as an off-campus student, I'm all behind because
Struggle
I'm
as
tired
well.
of losing market points just to get into the cab.
the
if I
first
need
it's
to.
8 market points.
Yeah,
That's
yes,
ridiculous.
it's
$8
crazy.
a lot.
He's also trying to reform the way worships are done. Instead of having 3 worships a week, it would be more or less 48 worships over the course of a semester, like in I guess a total, as opposed to just trying to get one per week to lessen unnecessary fines.
Yeah, when I was in the dorm, that was difficult.
He's also behind what other administrations have been doing in regards to turning Blake into an actual student center. And like I said before, there's town hall meetings. He wants to put out an app that will keep everybody connected with certain things in regards to the events that are going on. So those are some of his points.
To stay modern.
So I'll go ahead and say some of his points.
For Tajay.
Tajay's too. So he's about fighting for our rights. So job reform. If we go ahead and talk about, remember how we had a whole bunch of jobs here?
Yeah.
And a lot of the main or leading reason why a lot of students aren't coming back is because of jobs.
Yeah.
And we have like 2,000 students here, and there's how many jobs?
And
so
wait,
he's really going
do
to
you guys
work
realize
on
we
that.
make below minimum wage? We make $6.25 minus tax. I just thought
That's
So-
another
So-
argument.
Just
thought I'd-
in itself.
That's a
Yeah.
topic in itself.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get that next time.
So he's working on that. He's also working on restructuring the worship credit system. Also with academics, just letting our mark be made. You know how many times we walk away from class like, what is this going on? Confused. So we're
Yeah.
going to do that. So just to ask the question for you guys to make a decision, because based on both of their points, they sound like
They both sound good.
They both sound really good. They both sound like they're eligible candidates. And so like even outside of knowing who they're associated to, whether if it's Corey and Jasmine, or knowing friends of Tajay, it matters. It doesn't matter. Just be informed.
I think it absolutely matters, but okay.
Be
And may the best
informed.
man win.
May the best man win. Let's go back to Joy,
What's up with
please.
that?
Let's go
What's
back
up with
to
that?
Joy. What's up with that?
Well, it seems like that's a debate that could go on and on and on, but it will be settled on February 27th, which is Election Day, and it'll be held in the Blake Center. And on a much more tragic note, actor Philip Seymour Hoffman died on February 2nd in an apparent heroin overdose. And he was found with a hypodermic needle still stuck in his arm, as well as 70 baggies of the drug in his home. And Hoffman, who was only 46 years old, was mourned in New York on February 7th in a star-studded funeral attended by his friends and family. And this tragic death has sparked up a conversation on heroin and the effects that it can have on addicts. So let's pass it over to our panelists to hear what they have to say about this conversation.
We are back again. So let's talk about Hoffman. He was in the talented Mr. Ripley, right? Mission Impossible 3.
Good
Great
movie.
movie.
Hunger
Great
Games
movie.
Catching Fire. He was working on Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, and now Part 2. What are we going to do without him? So, guys.
CGI is a thing.
You take
Stunt
this one,
doubles
Paul.
are the
This was
thing.
on you, man.
I mean, and like you said, great introduction on there. Like, Philip Seymour Hoffman was a great actor. Hollywood is sorely gonna miss a man of that kind of caliber. But I really find it interesting how the media has kind of spun his death into motive for a manhunt in regards to heroin. Like, we haven't really heard anything about a heroin epidemic in the United States since around the time of the Reagan administration during the late 80s, early 90s when they were talking about heroin and crack. And now all of a sudden it's this big thing because Philip Seymour Hoffman died. And once again, while it's completely tragic, it's really tragic, it just seems really interesting how they spin that. But
Yeah, I was looking up, doing some research, guys, and so from one of the resources that I picked up on the internet, it was saying that Hoffman was supposed to pick up his kids around 9 o'clock. So showing, obviously, he's responsible. We're hoping that he was a responsible father at least, and he wasn't there. And they were worried because it's an unusual sight for the father not to pick him up. Finding out, being concerned, the friends go over to his house and realize, he's no longer.
Did any of his family and friends know that he was a drug addict, or is this like a hidden secret?
He's been battling with drugs for a long time, and he was 23. For 23 years, he was clean for a while, and then he fell off the wagon again in 2012. But I find really admirable about him is that during May, he checked himself into rehab because he was scared of relapsing again. So he put himself in there as a preventative opportunity, and now this happened. So he was trying.
Let's look at it for what it is. I mean, honestly, this is Hollywood. Yeah. So drugs aren't really that. Oh my God! It's common for this man to have 70 bags of.
That's the scary part. Like, what
he was going through?
Was he holding it for somebody? Like, that's what it feels like.
Not
this
even.
Is like, this is not me saying this is fact, but I'm just saying like it's all the options of what could have happened. Like, did you really have that all for yourself? Like.
I mean, and it's funny because, like you said, this is Hollywood. Drugs aren't necessarily uncommon, especially when you have actors like himself who are really, I guess, I won't say typecast, but the roles they usually are offered and the ones they usually accept, meaning the ones we see them in, are geared around the same thing. A lot of times, Philip Seymour Hoffman had a lot more serious, stoic. Occasionally, he would be the villain. In Mission Impossible, he was a villain. No spoilers for Hunger Games for those who haven't seen it, but his role took a little bit of an anti-heroic stance. You didn't really know what position he was playing. And I know if we think back a couple years ago, well, not a couple years ago, but to Heath Ledger when he played the Joker. When you play these, a lot of people, when they play these roles, they really immerse themselves into it. I mean, even most recently with Matthew McConaughey playing in Dallas Buyers Club. It got a lot of press because he lost so much weight to portray an AIDS patient. What I'm getting at is that a lot of these actors put themselves through a lot of things just to accomplish these roles, and
put themselves a lot of things to get out.
Yeah, like I mean, even since we're on the topic of drugs, I mean, we can take it back to like TV with Corey Monteith. Corey Monteith had an issue with drugs or whatever, and he was playing to Corey from Glee. He had issues with drugs himself. Trying to balance his personal life with his TV life
it's
and a
stressful.
bunch of other things. It is a very
I mean, I'm not saying
stressful
it's an excuse because we're all stressed.
Plus,
but their stress is like magnified because they're stars.
And not only that, but they're taking on different personalities when they play these roles.
It's kind of trippy if you think about it. Like,
it's creepy. So, like, what is the price of fame, basically?
That's a good question.
I mean, like, even
is it worth it?
Is it worth it? Because going back to like even celebrities, like we have these serious roles, and then we have like pop artists who don't really care. They're just, hey, I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna smoke, I'm gonna do whatever
because they can.
I think celebrities need to start being held more accountable for.
But you know what? That's not their job. Their job is to perform, and we pay the money to see them. So I don't necessarily think they should be role models. I think that should happen in your home. Yeah. But it kind of.
Yeah, they need to be held responsible as a person. Like, come on, 70 bags. If you're a celebrity and the cameras are constantly on you, you gotta have some kind of look. Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah, I just feel like just closing. I just kind of feel like we need to take less attention on them and more or less on ourselves and how we view them or whatever, and maybe then the stress won't be as hard. But yeah, absolutely.
So guys, the price of fame.
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
What's up with that?
What's up with that?
Back to you, Joy.
Definitely an interesting question. And right now we're switching over to our final topics. New York Fashion Week is coming to a close on February 13th after a week of exciting shows and new trends. And some of those trends include winter pastel coats, leather leggings, and much more. And if you'd like a full recap, you can visit their website at newyorkfashionweeklive.com. And coming down to our final topic, a celebrity boxing match between rapper DMX and George Zimmerman has been called off by celebrity boxing promoter Damon Feldman. And Feldman tweeted on February 8th saying that although the fight was worth a lot of money, quote, people's feelings meant more to me, end quote. And this came after a rally on February 7th in Florida to commemorate Trayvon Martin's death. And the fight was actually originally announced on February 5th, which would have been Trayvon's 19th birthday. Tuesday. And a similar case to Trayvon's also started hearings on February 5th in a Florida court. And a black unarmed teenager was shot by a middle-aged white man after an argument about the teen's loud music. And the jury is actually deliberating the verdict on this case as we speak. Now, without further ado, let's pass it over to our panel to see what they have to say about this trying issue.
Do you see my face right now? Do you see my Joy? Thank you. Can we talk about Zimmerman, because I feel like DMX was going to give it to him like he normally says.
X gonna give it to you.
X gonna give it to you. Like,
Y'all gonna make him lose his mind.
up in here. So, guys, what do you think? Because I'm starting to shake. I don't mean to shake. Like, I don't really shake about topics, but this one is like
It's ridiculous.
And is it more so because this happened like right in your, like, I guess, like this is where you're from?
I am from Florida.
Yeah.
I am from
Get
Florida.
your people, Monique.
My people.
Get your people.
Every time it's always Florida, to the point where I'm not even surprised. Florida, what's up with that? But yeah, let's go talk about Zimmerman, because I guess the connection and even the reason why the posting, the whole like trying to get them to stop, getting it canceled, is just relating back to the case with Zimmerman and this whole Trayvon thing.
And I mean, it's funny, like, someone I follow on Twitter brought up a very interesting point about this whole thing. First off, let's look at how it was marketed in the beginning. It was marketed as a celebrity boxing match. Now, if you know anything about celebrity events, they're usually charity events. They're usually to like raise awareness for something and stuff like that. Also, they usually, because it's a celebrity event, they usually count on the clout and the reputation of the people participating in it to actually raise awareness, raise dollars, raise attendance for said event, so that the charity or the people involved or people benefiting from it can actually benefit from it. So let's look at what we consider celebrities here, because technically speaking,
he's not a celebrity.
he shouldn't be, because celebrity, the root word celebrate, you really think that like it's somebody that we celebrate. However,
No.
He is a public figure.
He is.
He has
But
he's not a celebrity.
And according to the American justice system, whether it's right or not, he didn't
Positively
do it.
or negatively,
He
he
didn't do
is. He is.
So-
He's been
Crazy.
celebrated in some way. So can
By
we
some-
talk?
So wait, where was this money gonna go? The proceeds
Well,
to this
if he
fight?
got like, how much money would he be able to raise?
Like,
It's funny. It didn't come out until, because now that it's been called off completely, it's come out that this is the second and final time that it's been canceled. And in this last round, I guess, of the debates on whether or not it's actually going to happen, it came out that the promoter offered some of the money to Trayvon Martin's family.
he crazy?
It's like, how disrespectful can you get? But
it's already
regardless-
going to
Damon
be aired on his
Feldman.
birthday.
Yeah,
you
Damon
know,
Feldman,
like,
yes.
Feldman.
Well,
it's already gonna
Who
be
is
aired.
this man?
He cut it off because he was receiving threats
Right.
from people.
Of
He was like,
course.
at the end of the day, I just want everyone to be happy. So I
What?
was just like,
I first of all, the promoter in itself, like whoever decided to
my
create
God.
this match was not thinking of Zimmerman's best interest.
Who was going to
or the
air this
family.
match?
Because go ahead, Vic. 'Cause
no, seriously, who in their right mind, what, channel would air this? I don't understand.
First of all, can I ask this, or do you want to say
go ahead.
between DMX and Zimmerman, who do you think would win?
DMX.
funny enough,
For
I'm
real,
not
let's ask
actually
that.
sure, and here's why. Now, the
Zimmerman's a
DM
big dude.
Not only is Zimmerman a
But
big dude, but
the
let's
fighting
no,
DMX and the reason why he would be fighting him, I feel like it would overtake whatever, Zimmerman.
But not only that, but let's be real. The DMX that we all grew up with, whether you knew him, loved him, hate him, whatever, he's not the same. The thug that we all grew up with, he's not there no more. He's gone between a thug to pastor to currently what I've heard, he's
We all need
addicted to
Jesus.
drugs. We don't know. DMX has lost it. And the fact that he would even accept the invitation to do this or accept the challenge to do this just is further proof. DMX is not the same DMX we know. So I honestly say that according to what Zimmerman's defense was saying during the case, Zimmerman may have been able to hold his own with him since he supposedly had MMA
And
training.
This is why I'm saying that how is Zimmerman strong enough to fight against DMX, but he was not strong enough to fight against a teenager. So I'm saying like this for him was not a good move, because I know we can't do double jeopardy. I know we can't go back into the case, but it's kind of a slap.
not a good look.
It's a slap in America's face for those who voted against.
Well, according to DMX, he was like, I'm gonna beat the mess out of him. Like he was ready and amped for it. No matter what you try to call it, I think that DMX versus Zimmerman, it would have turned out to an all-out brawl. Like there is no controlling that. It would have gotten ugly.
I'm just glad it's not happening.
So,
because
guys,
it's family.
yeah.
Let's think about the family at the end of
Respect
this.
for the family.
Especially since they announced this on the day on his birthday. So I mean, yeah, you know, rest in peace to Trayvon, and yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, violence, is it really the answer?
What's up with that?
Back to you, Joy. Take it away.
Thanks, guys. And once again, to all of our viewers, we'd like to encourage you guys to stay informed and up to date on all of the topics that we've discussed today. And that's all we have for you guys. And if you enjoyed the topics that we discussed, be sure to tune into next week's episode of What's Up With That.